What you're going to see now is basically the basis of all what our Bible code, Torah code, when it started, how it started. In fact, all of it is taken from Professor Robert Haralick site, torahcodes.us. So the story started, as you can see, in 1976. Rabbi Shmuel Yaniv began working on Torah codes, specifically with respect to religious themes. In the next table, we see a question. When did Rabbi Yaniv begin Torah codes? In Hebrew, this question is, Matai Yachel Yaniv Kod Torah? The question is answered in the table with a sentence, Shnat Eitavshin Lamedvav Yachel Kod Torah. Yaniv will begin Torah codes in the year 5736, 1976. Indeed, that is when Rabbi Shmuel Yaniv began studying Torah codes. His first book, Codes in the Torah, Tzfonot Torah, was published 12 years later in 5748, 1988. Since then, he has published 4 additional volumes of Torah codes. The table produced by the search has a cylinder size of 632. It is interesting that 632 is the gematria, numerical value of Sunot, the Hebrew word hidden. The plural of the word safun meaning codes. Unbelievable. So this is what you are going to see now in the table. The word when will begin code of Torah. Yaniv will begin code of Torah 5736, 1976. Unbelievable. So let us see now where it appears. And we see clearly, definitely, this verse, this question, and the answer. So let us see now the table. There are many tables here. All of them deals with Torah code, but let us see now the question when Torah code will start. So here what we have is the following. Yachel, the word Yachel, code Torah, will begin codes of Torah. Yaniv will begin code of Torah on the year 5736. So all this you see here. You have Yachel code Torah, will begin code of Torah on the year 8 of Shinlamedvav, unbelievable, parallel, 5736 on the year. And when Yaniv, this is the name of Yaniv, who brought it to the world on the year 5736, 1976. So this is what he tells you, the cylinder size is 632, between letter to letter, yeah. The table was question about when will Torah codes begin. In the table is answer. Yaniv will begin Torah codes in 5736. So this was found by myself and Professor Rips with additional words. Then, what more we have here? So, Torah codes, name of God, knowing God. The concealed name of God is Yud-Kei. The revealed name of God is Vav-E. The first 2 letters are the hidden, Chochmah and Binah, and the revealed are Vav-E. The complete great name of God is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, the 4 letters. Before our time, Torah codes were associated with concealed name of God. In our time, the time just before the Messiah, Torah codes are associated with the revealed name of God. These ideas are illustrated in the following table. So the first table was the sentence, we will understand Torah code as the language of the great name of God. Light of the incomplete name of God. The meaning of this is that up until our day, Torah codes were concealed, hidden, and thus associated with the incomplete name of God. But that today we can understand that Torah codes are revealed in the light of the incomplete name of God. So this is what you are going to see in the table. You will understand Torah code, the language of the great name of God, light of the incomplete name of God. So let us see now this table coming here. So here you have code Torah, Torah code Torah, and Shem Yud Kei is a name, part of the name of God, of wisdom and understanding. Interesting, Yud Kei, wisdom and understanding. This is definitely the idea of it. Then we have the word light here, and so you can see code Torah, Shem Kei, Torah code, the name of God. It's Mashon Hashem. This is like the language of God, the Torah, and this is the light. So I found also myself and Professor Rips. And in our time, the time just before the Messiah, Torah codes are becoming known. As they become known, the revealed name of God is becoming known. Therefore, it is not surprising that there is a table that links the key word Torah code with the revealed name of God. So let us see it. So this is what you see here, code Torah code. In Hebrew you have two words, the same code, Sofen, are basically the same. Revealed name of God. In our time, the time that before the Messiah, Torah codes are becoming known. As they become known, the revealed name of God is becoming known. Therefore, it is not surprising that there is a table that links the key where Torah code with the revealed one. So exactly that's what we saw, which you have here. So you can see here, Kodei Torah, codes of Torah, and Sofen Torah, so yeah, Sofen Torah. And name of God, this is the last part of name of God, because the Vav and the A, as you saw before, represent the non-thing of God. So, what we have here, quite long, during the time of the Messiah, the prophets tell us that all the world will acknowledge and know the one and the name, the same God. No longer shall any man teach his neighbor, nor any man his brother, saying, Know Hashem, for all of them will know me, from their smallest to their greatest. So all this is taken from the prophet Jeremiah 31:33. With regard to the meaning of know, the Lubavitcher Rebbe teaches this verse refers to a direct recognition, to seeing the actual nature of that which is perceived. For teaching is only appropriate when a subject can be grasped rationally, not when the true nature of something is perceived. Is teaching of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So this is what he said. Yeah, the true nature of something is perceived and recognized by direct vision. From Exile to Redemption, Volume 2. This was Hasidic teaching of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Sherson, Keolot Publication Society, Brooklyn. This was it. To know by direct recognition requires sensitizing of, definitely to have proper recognition, so you need a sensitizing of consciousness. The first element of this sensitizing is to know that consciousness of direct recognition is possible. some will come to know directly, some will come to know various entrance ways to such knowing. One entrance way is to train ourselves to see the hand of God in our everyday situation. Another way is to learn to understand the depths of the Torah and its teaching. Another way to know that a direct consciousness is possible is through Torah codes. And indeed, there is a table that connects Torah codes with knowing God. It is interesting that this table also has the ELS, equal letter sequence, for the key word Zohar, the main Kabbalah book that gives mystical commentary of the Torah. So let us see now what you see here. So that Torah, knowing God, Torah codes by the Zohar, amazing. So this is what you see here. That Hashem, knowing God, is, and which are the codes, Kodim, and soften is through the Zohar. This was found by Professor Haralick. So reinforcing the table is another table that links know God to codes and Zohar. You will expect that number of ELS to 50. In terms of 50 gets of understanding. The probability is that the text from the ELS, random placement, less population would produce as compact a table as produced by Torah is 11 to 1,000. So let us see this one. So this is what we see now. So the one Wisdom found an interesting table whose key words forms the sentence, "You will see with clarity hidden codes in my Torah." Amazing. These are the words that you see in the table. You will see with clarity hidden codes in my Torah. So this is what you see here. Iru, you will see beberur, clearly, clarity. Sofen chabur, a hidden code in my Torah. Yeah, unbelievable. This was finding by their own wisdom. And this is really, they will see with clarity because in the Torah, the same table with more words, because I divided the line to two. So you have Iru Beveru, that we see clearly codes. But Torah, in the Torah, interesting. So it's basically the same thing what really came out by dividing the line into two, clear and straight, word, but Torah. Then, if we go further, we have here a very interesting table. It is said in Isaiah, at the time of the Messiah, all will see the God has spoken. The glory of Hashem will be revealed, and all flesh together will see that the mouth of Hashem has spoken. So this is exactly what you see here. Soften Torah code, which is revealed according to mouth of God, to saying. So you have soften Torah codes, and Igla, which is revealed according to the verse of God. That I found. Then, going more into it, so we have done a total of 36 experiments. The smallest p-value was 14 to 100,000. The probability that in 36 experiments, the smallest p-value would be as small as 14 to 100,000 is bounded above the 5 or 6 100,000 by Bonneferro inequity. The Zohar is a principal book of Kabbalah. It is written in a medieval Aramaic. It is commentary on the Torah, but the commentary is not an ordinary commentary. For the Zohar, the Torah is alive and is both a lover to and the beloved of its reader. The Zohar contains many secrets of the physical and spiritual universe. It aims to reveal and make plain that which we might not pay attention to or understand because of the ordinary way in which we look at the deal with the world. Its purpose is to elevate the consciousness of its reader. The next table is based on the keywords learning of secret, the Zohar code, Messiah, and from 5736. So learning of the secret of the Zohar, which is really a code, and this is Messiah, which was really started the research of the code, learning the secret of the code from the year 5736, which is 1976. So you have the word, you have Sod, Limud Sod, learning the secrets of Zohar, about the code, about Messiah. And this started from the year Tavshin Lamed Vav, and I found it, and statistically is less than 1 to 10,000. It means they did not try more, it can be also million. So let us carry on now. And what we see here in Kabbalah from Zohar and the writing of the Arizal, Rabbi Zikluya, the year 5736, 1976, is an important year. This is the year from which the preparations began above for the end of darkness, the redemption and messianic era. And it came to pass at the end of 2 years to the day Pharaoh was dreaming the famous story in Genesis 41. On this verse, Midrash Rabbah refers by verse, is set an end to darkness. This means there is a limit to darkness. Why is there a limit? Midrash Rabbah, volume 2, Census and Press, New York, this is the source, then mentions that a definite number of years was fixed for Joseph to spend in prison. When the appointed time came, Pharaoh dreamed a dream thus, and it came to pass at the end of 2 years to the day. Genesis said, who set the limit? Midrash Rabbah tells us that it was God who set the time. God is orchestrating the events. These 2 years were the 2 additional years that Joseph was in jail because he said to his minister of the cupbearers 2 years before, mention me to Pharaoh. This statement to the minister indicates that Joseph was relying on people instead of God to get him out of prison. For him, this act showed a loss of faith. According to the Kabbalah, imprisonment of Joseph can be likened to the exile of the Jewish people. This dream of Pharaoh, followed by Joseph's impressive interpretation of the dream, and then Joseph's elevation to the second highest position in the land of Egypt, can be likened to the end of the exile. The end of the exile is the beginning of the Messianic era. So the Ari, Rabbi Ziklura, said, writing in 1500 in his book Likutei Torah, pages 48, states that this verse indicates to the beginning of the time of redemption, the Messianic era. He reasons as following: 1 year is to the nearest integer 365 days. 2 years is then 730 days. The rewrites 3065 twice, which 2 years, yeah, come to 730 plus the 6 letters come to 736, which is exactly the year 1976, the year 5736. Then we carry on about the Zohar. It's commenting on this passage of at the end of 2 years refer to what it regards as a parallel for the passage in Psalm. Blessed be the Lord who day by day bears our burden. Psalm 68:20. The phrase, the Lord bearing our burden, is likened to the Lord bearing our exile. The word were translated as Lord in the text is Aleph Dalet Nun Yu. This prompts the Ari to write that when the name of God, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, is written out in full, like 111 sources, 4,000 comes to, with the name of God itself, come to 736 also. This is interesting that the first sequence of verse in Torah, whose gematria is 736, is darkness, and God called, this is a non-stars that God called the darkness and Choshech V'Yikra Elokim. The very next word is to light. The last sequence of words in Torah, whose gematria 736 is 30 days, Deuteronomy 34. Which 30 days are these? These are the 30 days that Israelites mourned the days of Moses. After this, they left the desert and entered the land of Israel. So, it is very interesting that in the first case, it is imprisonment of Joseph that precedes his elevation to the second highest administrative post in Egypt. In the second case, it is the darkness that precedes the light. In the third case, it is a desert that precedes the land of Israel. Each can be likened to the exile that precedes the era of the Messiah. This time period is called end of days. The Vilna Gaon states in the many books that at the time of redemption there will be many secrets of Torah that will be revealed. One of those secrets is Torah codes. It is interesting to note that the gematria, mercury of Kodei Torah, the codes of the Torah, come to 736. This 736 is the 736 of the years 5736 because redemption is known to come in the 6th millennium. So this is what you see here, also to do with the Vilna Gaon. So the Vilna Gaon states in his many books, that at the time of redemption there will be many secrets of Torah that will be revealed. One of these secrets is Torah codes. It is interesting to note that the gematria of Kodei Torah is 766. This 73 is the 76 of the year, 576, because redemption, as we said, is known to come in the 6th millennium. We use for our key words end of days, as spelled in Daniel 12:13, 5736, 576, 76, on I, and keyword code. Using the Hebrew code, the best table use the key word for 5736 with expected number of ELS set to 10. The probability that a text from ELS, random, placement, text, population, would produce a table as small as one produced by the Torah text in 6.5 to 100,000. And this is exactly what you see, what the Rabbi Zukluya said, that Ketz Ayamin, end of days, above heaven, it will be revealed on 8 Tavshin Lamed Vav, unbelievable, 5,736, 1976, the code. So it is really Analyzing this table, this is what Professor Rips comes to, that it is 6.5 to 100,000. Unbelievable. And this is exactly the right expression of the Rabbi Zekloya about the time that the end of days above, like it is not yet done, it will be done, hoping soon. But this was the beginning of the stage of redemption. Then what we have more, let us take comfort. There is a limit to the darkness, a limit that God himself has set. And the darkness has a purpose, even if we don't understand it. We enhance that purpose by keeping the faith in the darkness. Therefore, our keywords are based around the concept of the end of darkness from 5736. We use two spelling for the key word phrase end of darkness, 6 forms for 5736, 576, in 576, from 5736, 73 in 7. From this, the first two letters constituting the concealed part of the name of God, and the last two letters constituting the revealed part of the name, two letters. ELS, however, are everywhere and basically tell us nothing. Therefore, we prefix the two letters of the name by the Hebrew for the word name itself. The number of experiments we do, total 36, for the 36 different key combination sets. We expect the number of ELS set to 50. The best table the Torah produces uses the keywords end of darkness from 5736 and reveal name of God. The probability that the text from the ELS random placement text population would produce a table as compact as that produced by the Torah index is 14 to 100,000, like you have in this table, Ketzlach end of darkness, and from the year 5736, which is 976, when the research of the code started and came to the world, and the concealed name of Noam, of God, Yod K, came out. Then, looking more into this, so this what we saw is the importance of learning the secrets of the Torah. So, you can go slowly all these tables. And this is unbelievable, that he has the whole story, how the code started, when it started, and the purpose of the course. So everything you have here. And as I said, this is a site, Professor Haralick site, torahcode.us. A very interesting and important Bible code which explains what the Bible code are and clearly show the divine providence of the discovery of the Bible code. So a very, very important set of tables that really people should realize. Here is another one, which is one less than 1,000, which tells a very interesting sentence that there is and there exists in the language of man from the year 5000, Sofen Torah, Torah code, great name of God, full name of God, and this the amazing, this is what you have here, long Sofen Torah of God, which is in the language of man and started from Mitavshin Lamedvar. So this is less than 1,000. We did not try more, but it could be even more. So very interesting set of tables, verse we're reading properly, because this gives full meaning to the Torah code, to the Bible code. People don't realize that Bible code is something which is very deep and wide, and also scientifically, it was recognized by science. It is known. It's an interesting and important set of tables about the Bible code.